Good day everybody. Let me introduce myself. My name is Fanny Yulinda. This time I would like to explain about this topic. First is about externalities, public goods, social choice. Okay, before that we must know about market failure. Market failure occurs when resources are misallocated or allocated inefficiently. Example of market failure is an existence of externalities, public goods, and imperfect information. Let me explain one by one. First is externalities. Externalities is the cost or benefit resulting from some activity or transaction that is imposed or bestowed on parties outside the activity or transaction. Externalities can be bad externalities or positive externalities. This is an example of a bad externalities. Take a look at the picture. This man flatters on the lift, and the smell of his gas make other people don't like it. That can call bad externalities, because other people must impose a cost from the bad air on the lift. This is another example of bad externalities. An acid rain or a pollution. They come from a factory. And this is an example of positive externalities. Take a look at the video. That's an example of positive externalities, because the man get a benefit to get a number from a woman when his activity used Axe perfume. Now we talk about marginal social cost. Marginal social cost is equal to the sum of the marginal cost of producing the product and the correctly measured damage cost involved in the process of production. In the other word is marginal profit cost adding marginal damage cost equal is marginal social cost. Marginal profit cost is the amount that a consumer pays to consume an additional unit of a good, and a marginal damage cost is the additional harm done by increasing the level of an externality. We take a look at graphic. This is a graphic of a firm without externalities. Profit maximizing, perfectly competitive firms will produce up to the point that price equals marginal cost. And this is a graphic of a firm with an externality. The marginal costs have an additional cost that called an external cost, so they must to pay a marginal social cost. This graphic can explain more. This is an externality that with loss of economic welfare. So how to solve the externality? This is the 5 approaches have been taken to solving the problem of externality. First, can give a tax. Government impose taxes and subsidies. Tax imposed on a firm equal to the marginal damage cost, so damage cost can be replaced by a tax. Second, with the private bargaining and negotiation. From Coase theorem, Under a certain condition, when externalities are present, private parties can arrive at the efficient solution without government involvement, just with a negotiation. And the third is by illegal rules and procedures like injunction. A court order forbidding the continuation of behavior that leads to damage, or like liability rules, laws that require A to compensate B for damage imposed, or by sale or auctioning of right to impose externalities, and the last is by direct government regulation. Next, we talk about public goods. What is public goods? Public goods are social or collective goods is goods that are non-rival in consumption and or their benefits are non-excludable. What is non-rival? Non-rival is a characteristic of public goods that one person enjoyment of the benefit of a public good doesn't interfere with another consumption of it. The second characteristic is non-excludable. The non-excludable is if once a good is produced, no one can be excluded from enjoying its benefits. This is an example of public goods. Before that, we must know about variety of goods. First is private goods. The example is like food, clothing, cars, personal electronics. Second is common goods like fish stock, timber, coal, and club goods like cinemas, private parks, and television. And the last is public goods. The example is like national defense, bridge, and road. Public goods. This is a scheme of public goods. The cooperator give contribution to make a public goods, and public goods give a benefit to the cooperators and also to the free rider. And this is a problem of public goods. First is free rider problem. Because people can enjoy the benefits of public goods whether they pay for them or not, they are usually unwilling to pay for them. The second is drop in the bucket problem. The good or service is usually so costly that its provision generally doesn't depend on whether or not any single person pay. So, how to solve the problem? From Samuelson theory, we can get an optimal provision of public goods. With private goods, consumers decide what quantity to buy. Market demand is the sum of those quantities at each price. The price mechanism forces people to reveal what they want, and it forces firms to produce only what people are willing to pay for, but it works this way only because exclusion is possible. With public goods, there is only one level of output, and consumers are willing to pay different amounts for each level. For private goods, market demand is the horizontal sum of individual demand curves. We add the different quantities that households consume, as measured on the horizontal axis. For public goods, market demand is the vertical sum of individual demand curves. We add the different amount that households are willing to pay to obtain each level of output, as measured on the vertical axis. The problem of optimal provision is to produce the optimal amount of each public good. The government must know something that it can't possibly know: everyone's preference. So, the Tibet came with hypotheses to solve the problem. Tibet hypotheses say an efficient mix of public good is produced when local land or housing prices and taxes come to reflect consumer preference, just as they do in the market for private goods.